Today we're checking out 5 pieces of gear that solve common problems that I've ran into at live shows. I'm a full-time musician, live music is mostly how I make my living, and these are all items that I think are a little bit more unique. Maybe you've heard of them, but I really tried to find something that is unique and different that isn't really covered very often. This isn't a paid video or anything like that. All 5 of these items I bought except for one. One I was given for free at NAMM, but nothing is paid in this video. These are all items that I use at my live shows. And if you find any of these helpful, there will be links to check them out down below in the description. Also, at the end of this video, I will be doing a giveaway to one of my subscribers, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and let's check out these 5 items. So this first one is pretty specific. Like I mentioned at the beginning, I'm trying to find something unique that you might not have heard of, but man, this has been one of my favorite small purchases that I've made in the last couple of years. If you've set up shows before and you have to provide PA and lighting, you know usually you have to bring stands. You need to have stands for your lighting, you need to have stands for your speakers. They're obviously needed, but they take up quite a bit of space. Plus, it's a trip hazard depending on how drunk people get at the shows that you're playing. So I've actually used the Electro-Voice EV Evolve 50s for a long time, and I love them because they have the subs at the bottom and then you have the speakers sitting right on top of it, and there's no stands that are needed for that. They're not the only ones who design that. There's multiple different ones that do that, but there's this company called Boogie Tech who makes this adapter that you can put on top of your speaker, and then you can put your lights on top of your speaker as well. So I have the subwoofer, and then I have my speakers, and then I have my lights all on the top, and I have no stands on the stage. They do offer this for a couple other speakers as well, but I specifically use it for the EV50s. It's insanely easy to attach this to the top of your speaker. You just take off the old top. I don't even have it anymore because I just have this one on here, and then you screw in the adapter, and now it's on top of your speaker, just like this. And now you can put your light bars on top of your EV30 or 50s. Here's some footage that I got over the years. So I have a pair of EV50s at the front of the stage. On top of those, I have my lights that are pointed at the stage. I don't have any stands at all, which has been really great. This show in particular, this was one of the tiniest spaces possible for a 6-piece band for a wedding that I played last year. This was a lifesaver for saving on stage space especially. And it worked out. I don't know how I would have been able to do this with 4 stands in the front with how little space we already had. I've also used it just for DJ gigs as well. It's worked out really well. This is fantastic for smaller stages. I know anytime I post an Instagram picture from a live show, it's always in front of a big crowd. I know we all do that. But the reality is a lot of us are playing on smaller stages. This is great for not taking up a lot of stage space, as well as preventing a tripping hazard. And plus, the setup is just so much faster as well. And it's only like $43 at the time of shooting. Really affordable and works really well. They do also have one for the EV30. So if you have an EV30 or an EV50, this will work. And they do also have adapters for the QSC K10.2, K8.2, CP8, K12.2, and the CP12. Those are the ones that they have. I do not know if they work with any other speakers. I know that Electro-Voice did just announce their EV70 and 90s. I did reach out to Boogie Tech to see if they are going to make some for those speakers, and they did say yes, that they are working on those. For the lights that I've put on top of them, I've put on the CHAUVET GigBar 2, and then the Blizzard Weather ones. That Blizzard Weather one is one of my favorites because you have 8 lights all in one bar. Those are pretty cool. I'll link to those down below. Obviously, you don't want to put anything super heavy onto this, and you obviously want to make sure that your subwoofers are flat on the ground. You don't want to have it tilted forward if you're playing like outside or something like that. Use common sense, obviously, but I've used these for a long time now, and they're fantastic. I love them. One of the best purchases I've made in the last couple of years. So next up is this little AT1 cable tester by XVIVE. They had this at NAMM 2025 this year, and this is the item that they gave to me. I'm not being paid to talk about this, but many thanks to XVIVE for sending this over because this thing is actually pretty handy. Just a quick story about what I like about this and why I was actually looking for something like this. There was a show that I did a while back. It was a really cool show. We got to fly to Dominican Republic and play at the Hard Rock Resort out there. They actually built an acrylic stage and we played on top of the pool. Pretty wild. That was the first time I ever got to do something like that. Of course, I got a good shot for Instagram. If you don't log it, it didn't happen, right? But the thing was, is at that show, sound check was actually really hectic and crazy. I mean, building a stage on top of a pool, something I'm sure was going to go wrong. The sound guy there was super chill. He was such a great sound guy, and he had this device that he could plug into and he could listen to all of the lines, the sends or the in-ear monitor returns. It was just a really cool way to problem solve. So I didn't just have to say, hey, this is what's going on with my in-ears, and I had to describe it. He could actually listen to what was going on with it. And that's one of the main things that I like about this one, is it has a speaker or a headphone port, and it has multiple inputs and outputs so that you can test your gear. But it also does even more than that. So this is it right here. It's got a built-in battery and you can charge it with USB-C. You flip it on over here on the side and you have this volume knob where you can listen either out of the speaker or the headphone out port here at the top. So this is great for problem solving on the fly. If something's going on with the in-ear monitors or something like that, plug into the XLR ports or the 1/4-inch port and listen either on the speaker or on the headphones and see what's going on. Definitely saves a lot of time. What's great is you can push this button and you can either get pink noise or a 1K sine wave, and that can route either out of the speaker or what it's mostly beneficial for is running out of the XLR ports. You can set the level down here at the bottom, and then you can start checking your line. We all know what it's like to have something not working live and you have to go, okay, is it the XLR out of the wireless? Or is it the cable coming out of the wireless? Or is it the stage snake? Or is it the input on the mixer? Or is it the speaker? So this is just a really handy tool to check really quickly to see where the problem is. You can use this to just quickly check to make sure all channels are working. So I'm just sending pink noise down each of these XLR channels on this mixer, and you can see that each of them are receiving a signal. You can also use your ears to listen to see if something sounds off. And remember, this does work with the 1/4-inch input as well. So if I needed to listen, you can hear that the speaker isn't super great sounding, obviously, based on its size. So it's more beneficial to use the headphones, but can be very helpful for problem solving. You also have this male-to-male 1/4-inch adapter as well, so that you can check female 1/4-inch ports too. It also has an XLR cable tester to see if your cables are good. I used this recently when I bought 4 new cheaper XLR cables and I wanted to check to make sure that they were working right. It also has an indicator to say if your signal is peaking. And it also has a way to test for phantom power as well. It's really helpful for quick problem solving. It's listed at about $180 as of time of shooting. This is the most expensive item on the list, but a really cool product, and I have this with me at my live shows. The third item on this list solves a problem that I run into more often than I would like. And let me know in the comments if this happens to you as well. So it doesn't happen often, but let me know if you guys have to load out in the dark sometimes like I do. Either like you're playing an event outside and they shut off the lights while you're tearing down, or you have to load out in the back of the venue in some sketchy alley with a bunch of stuff all over the place. These headlamps right here have actually been incredibly helpful for situations like that. These are the headlamps right here. It has a power button here on the side. Just push the button and you can either have more of this floodlight type of light, push it again and it goes a little dimmer, or you can also have this more direct spotlight, which is what I generally use because that'll be next to my head and it'll be pointed at whichever way I'm looking. Let me turn the lights off just so you can see how these look. So it's nice and bright, especially if it's super dark, if anything helps. It's not going to flicker like that. That's just my camera doing that. But I really like the spotlight mostly. And it charges via USB-C. Really simple, really effective. So I used to have to leave the lights on as long as I can, but by using those Boogie Tech adapters, I would have to take down the speaker eventually. Couldn't have the lights on the entire time. I have some little battery-powered lights that I use to like put under the drums to light up the drums. And those worked okay, but this is way better than that. This light is just always pointed in the direction that I need it to. It's like 25 bucks for a 2-pack, so not very expensive at all. I got a 2-pack so I can give one to my drummer because, let's face it, if you're bringing production like PA and lighting, at the end of the night, it's you and your drummer packing up. This fourth item solves a common problem, but it's also just been extremely convenient to use in my experience. Before I get to that, if you are finding this helpful, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It only takes a second and it truly does help out the channel, and consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like this in the future. So we all have to use mic stands for live shows, right? The thing about mic stands is that they have that part that sticks out and it's very easy to bump. Again, smaller stages, all the Instagram shots are of big stages, but the reality is sometimes we play smaller stages and sometimes we're even on the floor when we perform and there isn't a stage. Let me know how many of you have been teeth bumped. I know you know what I'm talking about. I probably don't even have to describe it, but where someone bumps that end that sticks out of your mic stand and it hits you right in the teeth. Let me know if that's happened to you. So they have straight stands, right? They have straight stands without that boom that sticks out, but any guitar player or bass player knows it's basically impossible to sing where you have to be right here and then the edge of the microphone hits your guitar, and it's basically really tough to play and sing like that. It kind of works, but not quite. So the solution is gooseneck adapters, and I've been using these for quite a while. So the gooseneck adapters come in all sorts of different sizes and lengths. I'll be sure to link to different ones down below, but you can see they bend into different shapes pretty easily, and they hold the way that they're bent pretty well. So you can see I can put a microphone clip and then a wireless mic onto it, and it's not going to bend or lose its shape, even with the longer ones. So it's pretty cool. You do just want to make sure that you have the right size as far as the connectors. And there is a adapter kit that I have that I definitely recommend just having in general, because I've ran into this problem before where you need one size thread and you have the wrong size. So it's worth getting that. I'll link to that down below as well. You can see it just attaches to the mic stand like this. So instead of having a stand like this where everything just sticks out and it's easy to bump, now you have this where nothing sticks out, but it bends closer to your face. And you can see it stays in place really well. Here's also one that I have used as well. This is a clip by On Stage Stands, and it actually goes into your keyboard, like your keyboard stand. So I actually use that. Here's some footage of me from a quarantine concert that I did in 2020. And you can see I have it attached to my keyboard stand right here. And I'm updating my live show as well right now. I'm going to program it with my Ableton Push and my Array Touch controller. So it's kind of going to look like this a little bit. This is kind of just a mock-up for this YouTube video. But if I need to sing in front of my Ableton Push, I can just turn the microphone over a little bit. If I need to sing in front of my Array Touch, I can just move the mic over a little bit. And if I need to sing with my guitar, I can leave it kind of centered as well. I did something similar to that in this music video. I used the gooseneck mic stand. I'll link to this down below if you're curious and checking it out. Here's also some footage of me live with my 90s band. You can see we have the mic stands that stick out. This is on a nice big stage, so I'm not really worried about being bumped. The only drawback of using the gooseneck stands is I don't have a spot to mount my pick holder and kazoo holder. I think I'm probably the only person who has that as an issue. You can see here's some footage of me using the gooseneck live with another band that I fill in for sometimes. And again, this one's on a nice big stage, so I'm not worried about it, but you can see that it's bent closer to my face and I don't have to worry about it getting bumped, which is very nice. So these are great. They help prevent the teeth bumping, but it's also just really nice to have. One of the drummers I play with, he actually uses it so he can actually put the mic in front of him if it's a song he's going to sing on, and then he can move it away if he's not going to sing on the song. It's a really small issue, but I've really liked using them. It's like $15, $30 or something like that for the adapters, and I'll link to them down below. So this fifth and last item is probably me being the most picky, but this has solved an issue that drives me crazy. Let me know in the comments if you have the same issue as well. I've really enjoyed doing any sort of audio over a Cat 5 or Ethernet cable. I use it for my S16 stage box with my Behringer X32 Live. One cable can connect the stage box and I can run 16 channels of audio down that cable. Or I've also reviewed the CATAPULT system by RADIAL recently. I love that. That's a really cool device to send 4 lines of audio over a single Cat 5 cable. Most Ethernet or Ethercon cables drive me nuts because of the fact that they coil up when they're on the ground like this. When you lay them down on the ground, they end up coiling like this. They just don't lay flat on the ground and it drives me nuts. It's easy to trip on and it just bothers me. It's just one of those little things that drives me nuts. But there are a couple cables that I found that actually do lay flat on the ground, kind of like a microphone stand. They are more expensive, but it's been really nice to have these. Sound Tools makes one of them and they are called the SuperCat, which is great. I've had those. I'll link to those down below. There's also another company called Elite Core that also makes one. If you order it from the website, you can actually get your name custom printed on the ends of the cables, which is really nice, especially since I lost one of these cables recently after only using it for like 2 gigs. That's cables for you though. They also have a connector that exposes like the Ethernet port, which is really cool. So like with most Ethercon cables like this, the Ethernet port is stuck in the middle, but you can actually peel it back. If you have something that doesn't accept Ethercon, that's actually really helpful. And that'll protect it because these are often pretty flimsy and easy to break. So it's nice that it has this to protect it. Something to keep in mind is that on the Sound Tools website, it's called the SuperCat. That's the one that lays flat. On the Elite Core, they have a SuperCat, and then they have the ProCat. The SuperCat is more of their traditional Ethercon cable, and their ProCat is the one that lays flat. I made that mistake because I was like, oh, the SuperCat, and I just assumed it was the same. But the ProCat from Elite Core is the one that you want. Both of them have been great, and they're way better than having that tripping hazard from Ethernet or Cat 5 cables. I hope you guys found the video helpful. If you did, do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. It only takes a second. It feeds the YouTube algorithm gods and helps recommend my channel to more people, so I would appreciate it. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I am going to do a giveaway to one of my subscribers. I'm going to give away one of the AT1s by XVIVE. This little cable tester is really handy. and it's definitely helpful for live shows. So this is for subscribers, so don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And then to enter the giveaway, you just have to leave a comment down below and use the magic phrase. You can say whatever you want down below, just as long as at some point you say the magic phrase. And the magic phrase for this week is Mulholland Drive, one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it again just recently after David Lynch unfortunately passed away. One of my favorite directors of all time. So yeah, the magic phrase for this week is Mulholland Drive. You only have 24 hours to enter this giveaway. I will announce the winner on this date right here. Please remember, do not respond to scammers. I will never ask you for money. Sometimes scammers or bots will show up and they try to convince you that they're me and that you need to send them money for shipping or something like that. I will never, ever, ever, ever ask you for money. If someone asks you for money, says that they're me, that is a scammer. Please do not respond to scammers. 2 other videos of mine to check out. I have a video on 10 items for an in-ear monitor rack. These items can help you if you're building an in-ear monitor rack specifically. I also have another video about 5 items that solve common problems for guitar and bass specifically. Both of those videos are a little bit older, but the products are still good. I'm just glad that my production value has gotten better over the years. So you can check out both of those videos by clicking the links on your screen now. Leave a comment down below if you have any other cool gear you want me to check out. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to follow me on my social media pages at Scott Yule Music, specifically on Instagram, but I'm on the other ones as well. Thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.